we're going to start here. Obviously, the grass hasn't come in here yet because we're just at the end of winter. It is February 11th or 12th or something, Super Bowl Sunday. And I am just getting ready to get my garden beds set for the year. So we'll start over here. I've cut back all my raspberries. I've thinned out all my strawberries. I think I lost my 2 Anaheim chilies, but I did cut them back just in case. I prepped this bed. This bed has notoriously been my potato and sweet potato bed, but I'm actually changing that up this year. I'm going to do root vegetables in there, but it's going to be beets and parsnips instead of sweet potatoes and potatoes. I did manage to keep my jalapeno plant for the 3rd year and my bell pepper for the 3rd year, but I do think I lost this bell pepper in the back, but I did cut it back just in case. You can see that my October garlic has already started to come up. I did plant it's called a Primo Currant bush back here. I got that at White Forest this year during their bare root sale. I love bare root fruits and vegetables because they are excellent price and you can plant them wherever you want as long as you do it within 24 to 48 hours of getting them. You can see my lemon tree is full of lemons, and yes, for those of you who have asked, I will be sending them to you shortly. I've cleared out all 3 of my container pots back there. I lost one of my eggplants this year. They are annuals, and that one was 2.5 years old, so I'm not disappointed because I still have 8 or 9 different eggplants. Over in this bed, my oregano, this is my Greek oregano, and over there I have the Italian oregano. Those are going gangbusters. I have still a random hollyhock, and my blueberry bushes have started their new growth this year. I'm super excited about that, and you can see that my lemon balm did not die all the way back, so I'm pretty sure I'll have a plethora of lemon balm this year. And I have cleared the bed for everything to plant today. And you can see my bulbs are starting to come up, and then my roses are also starting to come back. I don't think I'm going to do much planting in this bed because my hollyhocks have kind of taken over and they get huge. So I think I'm just going to let the roses and the hollyhocks stay in this bed. I do have lettuce that is still here, and 1 random onion that I didn't harvest last year because it was too small. I don't plant lettuce anymore because it is a weed in my yard. It is literally growing everywhere, including in the grass. I just let it go to seed and then shake it all over the yard and it comes back. As you can see, my artichokes this year are doing fantastic. I got another one over here that I planted that is just going gangbusters. I'd like to thank Felipe for the 2 ants this year that I got. I finally cut back the monster tomatoes. They may or may not come back. I'm not really overly concerned because of how many tomatoes actually fell to the ground this year. So I will have weed tomatoes all spring and all summer. And by weed, I mean I did not plant them, and they will come up in the hundreds, and I will literally have to pick them up. But I did prep the garden for all of the stuff that I am going to plant. My avocado tree is doing pretty well. It's a little bit on the yellow side. I'm guessing that's because it's lacking a little bit of iron. But I can't put iron stakes in until, at least another 30 days. I did go ahead and plant asparagus at the base of this tree because asparagus does really well at the base of trees. This is the only tomato plant that I have not cut back because it is still producing edible size fruit. Sometimes they just get so small that they're just not worth it. But these are still producing dime and quarter size tomatoes, so I have not cut it back, and I may not. My sage bushes are doing okay with the exception of this one. I'm not really sure what's going on with that one, but I did realize that this little sprinkler was not getting water over in that area, so I'm assuming that it just dried out. My peach tree is huge this year, and I'm finally starting to get the new growth on it, so we'll see how that goes. I did also plant some strawberries at the bottom, and then again with the asparagus. These are last year's onions that I did not pick up or pull up last year because they were not big enough, but they do look like they have bulbed up. So those will probably be coming up here shortly. This is another one of those tomatoes that I cut back. It is growing, so we'll see how well that does. Just for those of you who have tried to get rid of yucca, it's almost impossible, but I did find out that it is an edible plant, so I will be keeping the yucca. My midnight snack tomato I did cut back, and I do actually see growth on it, so I'm hoping that it comes back. And I actually misspoke, that is not midnight snack. It is called Indigo Rose, and it is absolutely one of the best tomatoes I've ever eaten in my life. It's a cherry tomato about that size. It is black and purple and red, and it is phenomenal. That is my millionaire eggplant that is absolutely coming back. And then I've got another 2 fairy tale style eggplants, and then again with the artichokes. And then these pots, I cut back this bush that decided to come back. My fig tree is starting to come back, and I planted the most. I've got to add some extra soil in here because you can see I did permaculture at the bottom of this box, and because it is permaculture and compost breaks down and leaves break down, it did sink, so I'm going to have to fill in. And then I had some issues with one side falling out. So moving on, we've got some more artichokes. This is all stuff I planted in the summer because broccoli and Brussels sprouts and kale doesn't really grow very well here in the summer. It actually grows here really great in the winter. So I went ahead and planted all of these last August. And if you can see way back here, my Brussels sprouts did actually do pretty well. My little red darlings did not yet. But I am assuming that is because they are coated in aphids. And sometimes you just have those plants that don't do well in certain zones, and that just happens to be one. The regular Brussels sprouts did great. The red darlings, not so much. I don't use pesticides, so that's probably why some of my plants don't take it. But I'd rather not have pesticides on my food. You can see my chard is coming up gangbusters. My lavender is just insane this year. I'm super excited for it to bloom. And this one right here is called Great Stuff. That is a sweet stuff, and that is also a sweet stuff bell pepper. Those were last year's, planted a little bit too late, but were hardy enough to last all winter long. So I'll be giving those a trim and staking them up and making sure that those are going to be some hardy plants for me this year. In the tropical bed, during the storms this year, my blue java banana decided it was going to lean to the right a little. But beyond that, my grand nanes and my other blue java, surprisingly enough, the blue java, which is a much more temperamental banana plant, is doing wonderfully. And then my grand nanes, not so freaking much, dude. So I'm thinking it's because we had the amount of rain that we had this year, and grand nanes like well-drained soil, and this is a little bit soppy, a little bit extra moisture. They probably need a little bit more drained soil. So let's hope that the sun warms up and those grand nanes start to take off. This is my, they call it white birds of paradise, but it's actually a ginger variety. I believe it is a Thai ginger or a Hawaiian ginger. And then these are my amaryllis. Those we got last year for Christmas, and I'll be planting this year's Christmas amaryllis in the same spot. I have cleared this bed. As you can see, this is a 1-year-old passion fruit. And when I bought this passion fruit, it was, about yay tall, and it took out about that much space. So in 1 year, it has climbed this entire wall. And if I were to peek over into my neighbor's yard, you would see it climbing almost all the way down to the ground. I do have one magnificent mustard plant that made it through the winter. I like mustard because it prevents rodents. It's great flavor in addition into salads and steamed green dishes. So yay for the mustards. There's Phoebe. Hi, Phoebe. How's it going? And there's Phoenix, Queen of House of the Cats. She's having a good day. She is my first rescue. We trapped her and we fixed her, and now she lives back here and she eats mice and birds and predators that eat my plants. Huh, Phoenix? I have not prepped this garden yet. I'm actually going to be moving this hot tub to the other side of the pool, where that black kind of tarp was, because during the summer this compost pile stinks and I don't like to be in the hot tub next to a stinky compost pile. But I would like to, I think this year my project will be turning all those bushes that you see here into another beautiful garden bed. So we have over here what I call my mother's shade garden. This year and you can see her elephant ears just doing gangbusters. This year over here I have planted Armenian cucumber, some bulbs, some romaine lettuce, and some other things. And the greatest thing about lettuce in Southern California is it is a weed. You literally just have to sprinkle it on the soil and it will come up in the plethora. So that is what we have this year for the gardens at House of the Cats. We are steadily preparing for the spring and getting everything prepped so that we can have some lovely food this year. I hope you're having a great year, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys have in your yards. Thanks so much.